Welcome to Daniel Reviews. I'm Daniel Goodwin, and today I'm spotlighting an accessory that I wish I'd have had 15 years ago. Let's get into it. All right, so if you've done any electrical wiring in your life, you're going to know that there are multiple options on how you can join wires together. You could use your handy wire nuts here. You could use some electrical tape, or maybe a combination of both. You've also probably found these little connectors that are pretty useful for joining up to 4 cables. But I'm going to show you something that I think is better than all of this. Okay, so like I mentioned, you could start with some electrical tape and wrap your wires. That's one way of doing it. Not necessarily what I would recommend, but it is. I mean, that's why they make electrical tape, right? You also got your various sized wire nuts here. You could get some of these and wire them together at different sizes. These are fine if you're not doing a ton of them, but twisting them on. If you're doing tons of those, that's not so fun. Then you've probably seen some of these at the hardware store. These allow you to connect up to 4 cables into a single junction, and it's great. Except if you ever need to take the wires apart, it is a pain in the butt to get the little release inside this mechanism. So you got to be really sure you got your wiring right, or you're going to really have a pain taking these apart. I don't like any of that. So what's better? China to the rescue. Check these things out. These are, well, one, they're awesome. But what they are is they obviously allow you, this one allows you to junction three wires into one with these awesome, let me see if I can show you, just levers, right? Like, it is so easy to work. It's the way it always should be. It should always be this easy. You just stick in your wires, stick in your other wires, whichever way, clamp them down, done. Need to undo it, open the wire, pull it out. It's so simple. Additionally, this particular model has, I don't know if it's zooming in there, it's got holes right here. So if you still want to nail it into a floor truss or a rafter or onto the studs or whatever, you just tap it in. So easy. It's fantastic. I'm sorry, I just can't get over how awesome these are. So I got a couple different models. This one is obviously a 3-way connector, T connector, fantastic. Then I also have, these are pretty much just inlines right here, right? Like you can just connect one to the other. However, not only can you connect one to the other, you can, let's see if I can do this right. I'm going to do this on the fly. There you go. You can easily link them together, which is also, again, awesome. And then they're easily, organized. Now, when you link them together, I do want to be clear that you're not sharing all 4. It's just this one straight through, this one straight through. They're not shared together, so don't get the wrong impression. But you can easily get a 4-plex if you want to have that as well. They're cheap, relatively. They're certainly about as cheap as one of these. You just got to wait for the shipping to get to you. But as far as easy to work with, you bet. There's nothing easier to work with than this. Okay, so the question on your mind probably is, well, what kind of wiring can I use with it? Well, it's pretty flexible. Couple of things to keep in mind. It's rated for 32 amps, so obviously this should go without saying. Don't do any extreme loads through these. I mean, 32 amps is pretty significant. If you're running something bigger than that, you're not even going to be able to fit the right size wire into here. So I think this probably won't be a problem, but I think you can go all the way up to 10 gauge. Of course, on down from there to 18 to probably 20 gauge. So very wide variety. I'll try to show you a couple examples here. A few different cable sizes here that I'll demonstrate. Just scraps that I have from this. This here is, I believe this is, let's see if it says on here. Yeah, it does. Yeah, 8. You're not going to be able to make it out. Trust my word, it's 18 gauge wire. It says it on here. I just don't think it's going to be big enough to show on the video. And then I have here, I have well, I can show you in comparison, a much bigger PV wire, which is going to be, gosh, I'm pretty sure this is 12 gauge. Yeah, I'm almost certain it's 12 gauge actually. And of course it obviously has the much thicker insulation all the way around it. So significantly bigger, but I'll just show you what this looks like. So you open this up. I'm going to stick in well, I need to twist it around a little bit. There we go. Stick in the 18 gauge. Man, it locks in there good too. I mean, like, I feel confident that is going to hold really well. And then I take the PV and I stick it in there. That's again, like I said, 12 gauge. And also, oops, sorry, I got away from the camera. Also in there, really good. So feel really, really secure with that. And then of course I could put in my third one there. And then to release, same thing. You just open it up, slide it apart. That easy, just like that. There we go. I think I got it. Yeah, I'm pulling on it pretty hard. There we go. Okay, I didn't want to share that because these have been amazing for me. I think they're such a time saver. In fact, I'm pretty sure that Leviton is doing something similar on their newer outlets. On the electrical outlets, they have this kind of lever system on the back. They're going away from those you know, the kind where you either poke it in the little hole or wrap it around the screw. They've actually got the lever mechanism very similar to these. And I think it's, again, if you're wiring one outlet, it's going to save you a couple minutes. If you're wiring your whole house or even a whole room, it's going to save you a lot of time. Your fingers and your wrists are going to thank you a lot, especially if you're working overhead. I think any electrician or anybody who's worked with, you know, just on their home, if you've ever wired something where your hands are like this, it can get excruciating after a while. So I'm all for something that will save me time. I feel very, you know, confident in using these. I'm not worried that, you know, it's going to burn down my house. I'm more concerned that, you know, the old wire nuts or the electrical tape, if somebody doesn't do their job well there, it's much easier to have one of these pop off of a set of wires than to have one of these pop off. Because I think I showed you, I was pulling pretty darn hard. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you found it kind of interesting. I certainly did, and I'll have a link to the to these connectors below the video. Not getting a kickback on these, just thought they're awesome and wanted to share.